Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses. We're in the middle of going through some supports. I just wanted to show before I got into that where we are in the calendar. So we've got two more weekends, free weekends before we conquer Enbar. So I probably will be getting even more supports unlocked. So my expectation is that even if I get through the ones here, I probably won't be starting on the mission until at least next episode, but yeah, so if you're looking for that, maybe jump to the next episode, but for now we're gonna do more supports.
Hey Caspar, can I ask you something?
Well, hey there, Annette. What's on your mind?
Is there anything you pay particular attention to on the battlefield? Stuff you make sure not to mess up? I don't want to make any major mistakes again. So I've been thinking about how I can improve. But it's trickier than I thought. I was hoping you could give me some direction.
Nothing I can think of. Sometimes you just gotta mess up.
Really? Nothing at all?
Nah, no matter how much you prepare, you're always gonna make mistakes. All you can do is quit worrying and try your best.
I guess that does sound like something you'd say. But I'm not sure how much use it is to me.
That's too bad. It's a great way to live. You worry about messing up, and all that worry makes you nervous, right? So being nervous on the battlefield is the reason you make mistakes you'd never make in training.
Well, yes. People's lives are on the line. If I mess up, they might actually die. When I think that my failures might put everyone in danger,
You gotta quit doubting yourself. It's not helping. You're obsessing about failures that haven't even happened. What's the point in that? Sometimes you're gonna mess up no matter how hard you train. That's life.
So what you're saying is, I should stop being afraid of failure and just try my hardest on the battlefield, like I do in training.
Was I not clear on that? You just gotta deal with your mistakes when you make them.
That really is just like you, Caspar. I'm starting to feel stupid for worrying so much. You're so strong and confident. I really like that about you.
Aw, thanks, Annette. I think you're great too.
Okay, I'm gonna try following your example from now on. It's time I stopped moping around here and put everything I've got into training. Right, Caspar?
That's the spirit. Let's get out there and train. I'll race you to the stables.
Yeah!
I wasn't expecting that response. Caspar definitely has a point, but there's also something to be said for, like, using the training itself as a way to, like, decrease your anxiety just by getting you, like, used to what's going on so that doesn't feel out of the ordinary. It's like, I mean, of course, the supports don't really reflect, like, what's going on in battle, but you would think that, like, if she was, I mean, I haven't been using her, of course, much, but if she was, like, participating in combat all the time, that would kind of sort of act as that sort of training, getting used to things, as opposed to just doing it in, like, a, you know, a actual, like, training session, where you don't have that same level of anxiety. It's, I mean, I guess it's sort of like, how if you, I don't know, like, if you play in, like, Smash tournaments, this is something I have some experience with. Like, the first couple times you go, you're, like, super nervous. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna mess up. And then you just sort of get used to, like, okay, this is a thing that I do now. And then you pretty much play like you normally do. Maybe not entirely. Like, there are definitely still some differences, and it varies from person to person. But you can sort of, like, you can definitely try to take your mindset, like, in one context and try to maintain it in another context. But the other thing you can do is just, like, be in that other context often enough that it becomes, like, more mundane. Hopefully that made sense.
Ah, Bernadetta, have you finished your illustrations?
Yes, I have. Finally. This is the first time I've ever made anything for a real-life book. I was up all night finishing these. Bernie's all burned out now. I guess if they're no good, we'll just have to burn them all, eh?
Wow.
Let's leave the topic of burning aside, shall we? Show me what you've
You
done.
should have told that to Alois. He would have loved that.
So, what do you think?
This is excellent work. The color, especially. It truly brings your art to life. I will see that the new edition of our book is added to the Garrigmach collection.
Really? Oh, that's such a relief. It was a tough job, but yeah, there's nothing Bernie can't handle.
Except using
You
the first
certainly do
person.
have some impressive mood swings.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
true.
There is one thing I'd like to discuss.
Oh no, what did I get wrong?
Relax. I simply wanted to ask you about this last image. This is you here, is it not?
Yes. Is that wrong? What's wrong with it?
Nothing at all. I'm only curious. Does that make me the person standing beside you?
Oh, no, that's St. Keyhole.
Is that so? Then I must ask, what relationship are you suggesting you have with him?
Well, I got the impression that the story of St. Indek was told from St. Keyhole's point of view. So I just imagined that I asked St. Keyhole about it. And, that's where the picture came from. I guess I overdid it, huh? That's weird, isn't it? It's really weird. We can scrap it. Let's just get rid of it.
Ah, so that's why. That's amusing.
It is?
Very much. And I think this is a very fitting end to the book, actually. St. Keyhole and Bernadetta. They would have made quite an interesting pair, I think.
Yeah, I
In
bet.
fact, if the two of you had lived in the same time, I am certain you would share a deep bond.
What? St. Keyhole and me? No way. I've already got my hands full just trying to be friends with you. But I've managed that at least, right? Haven't I?
Absolutely.
I wonder if Seteth ever tells anybody what his deal is. It is funny to see him finally sort of... I mean, it's obviously... It's not a... You know, he's still not directly acknowledging what's going on, but he like... He doesn't normally... He normally is... at most curious or, like... concerned or something when people start making those connections, but I guess since Bernadette is completely unaware, it's just sort of coincidental. Maybe that's why he's so amused by it. He's never laughed like that in any of his other sports.
What is it, Petra? Something catch your eye?
Yes. The architecture of this cathedral is very grand.
All the rubble in the
Evolving
background.
craftsmanship always makes me astounded. I have been hearing that all of its adornments have meaning, and are all honoring the goddess.
I heard that too. I'm not sure of the details, though. That reminds me. I've been wondering, do you worship the goddess in Brigid?
The goddess does not reside in Brigid. There are, however, many spirits there. Earth spirits, water spirits, wind spirits. Spirits dwell in all things. The ocean, for an example. The spirit of the ocean is with two faces. Its kind faces bestowing bountiful blessings, but its terrifying faces bringing disaster.
I guess it's natural for the ocean to have spiritual significance to you when you're surrounded by it. Since Brigid's made up of islands, your people must have a lot of experience with boats, too.
Yes, I have great skill at sailing. However, to be swimming is what I really love.
Swimming in the ocean? I've never had the chance. What's it like?
The ocean can feel shallow or deep, bright or dark, and it is filled with many creatures. There are always new things for discovery. On sunny days, I like to be diving under the clear surface of the ocean, and to be looking up at the sky from below. Those moments are my favorite. The sun shining through the blue water.
It can be making even the water sparkle like gems.
That sounds amazing. I can't even imagine it. You must really love it, though. Your description just now was very poetic. It makes my time swimming in rivers and lakes feel pretty small in comparison.
I am having an idea.
Yeah, that's
When
just,
this war
he's
is
like,
over,
of course now
we
she's
should
gonna
be
invite
going
him to go
Bridget
swimming in
with
the
each other.
ocean.
Oh, well, I'd definitely like to visit. It's not the right time for me to travel, though. My duties as a knight will have to come first.
A knight. Very well. I will be establishing an order of knights
What?
in Bridget.
Wait, what? A whole knightly order, just like that?
I am going to become the Queen of Bridget. Ash, you will become my guardian knight.
Dang.
Do not have fear. I will be making your dream come true.
I don't know, Petra. This is really ambitious.
We will be diving into the ocean with each other and be gazing up at the sky from behind the waves. I give you this promise. I hope you are understanding.
All right, all right. That smile of yours has gotten to me. I don't think I can refuse.
Yeah, so many of the A or A plus supports involve somebody being like, oh, after the war, you're gonna come with me back to my homeland, and we're gonna do this thing. That was predictable. But she almost like railroaded Ash into like moving to Bridget and like leaving Fodlan, leaving like any family or friends he has, just like no big deal, just to like work for her. Like, damn, that's actually, I don't even know if I would consider that to be like nice, let alone, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
All right then. Enough sparring for today?
Yes.
Romantic music for the
that
B
should
support.
suffice.
I must say, you've gotten good at seeing through my tricks. I can't mislead you so easily anymore.
I've made it my goal to read your aim and not give away anything through my body language.
But in hand-to-hand combat, your form needs work. On the battlefield, even if you lose your weapon, you can't ever stop fighting. Sink your teeth into their throats, kick them where it hurts. Do whatever it takes to survive.
Have you ever needed to employ such methods?
Not on the battlefield. I've never been in such a dire situation that I needed to. But at the tavern, loads of times. With a well-aimed boot, I've brought many a man to his knees. You can't hesitate to use dirty tactics. You have to grit your teeth and fight back. War isn't as pretty as it's made out to be in all those poems and songs. Sometimes, even as a knight, you have to do things that you might think are beneath you. You might even have to let innocent bystanders die. Are you prepared for that, Ingrid? Do you really want to be a knight, knowing what it entails?
I'm prepared to do whatever is requested of me, come what may. I will be a
You
knight
say that
who
now.
loyally serves my king, just as you loyally serve Lady Rhea.
You've got me wrong. I'm loyal to the Archbishop, but only up to a point.
Oh.
I'd do anything in the world for Lady Rhea, except die. If she asked me to die for her, I wouldn't.
Interesting.
Does that sound like a contradiction? Very well. That's just who I am.
You're right. It does sound like a contradiction. With all due respect, that isn't very knightly of you. I'm not sure I fully understand.
You will someday. Maybe not for a while, but you will. In the meantime, just don't die, okay?
I'll try my best.
I mean, well, my regard for Catherine's outlook on things just improved. Dying ain't no good. Ain't a thing to be doing. So I'm in agreement with her on that. I mean, I don't think Rey is worth following dying or not dying, but, you know, ruling out dying is definitely a step in the right direction.
Reading anything interesting?
Oh, good day, Linhardt. At the moment, I'm simply browsing history books. Reading these, it's easy to imagine what it would feel like to exist long ago.
Fodlan's history spans thousands of years. We're lucky to have so many detailed records of our past. I have knowledge of how people lived, who they loved, what wars they fought, and why. But I'd never describe it as feeling like I was living in the past.
And why not? It's only a figure of speech.
About our shared crests.
Goodness, this again?
There's an experiment I wish to attempt, although it might prove to be a bit troublesome.
A troublesome experiment? You know I do not like pain.
Pain? No, there won't... Well, I'm unsure of the results, but that's why they call it an experiment. It would, of course, require that you...
I beg your pardon?
Yes. If bearers of major and minor Sethlene crests reproduce, what crest would the offspring possess, if any? I must know, and thought the question might pique your interest as well.
Okay.
You are actually speaking about a hypothetical future with me? Involving... children?
I would just like to point out that technically that does not require marriage. And in fact, if this was your preferred research format, it would probably work. Well, you'd be better able to replicate your results if you didn't get married. Anyway, also that's extremely creepy and weird.
Yes. Such parentage has never been documented. A whole new field of research awaits. It would be a worthy experiment, and we'd need only 5 or so children for a good sample size.
Do you mind going back to what you mentioned earlier?
Pardon? Which part?
The part about marrying and having children! I've always believed, rather firmly, that marriage is something between two people who love one another.
I like you well enough to
Not a
advance
science
field of
experiment.
study to previously unknown heights. How do you feel?
This is the first I've heard of such a thing from you.
Do you imagine I've spent all this time talking to you because I was bored? Anyway, I'm pretty worn out now, so let's continue this conversation
Oh
another
my
time.
god!
Does conversing with me tire you out so much?
Talking to anybody tires me out. Thinking, putting thoughts into words, opening my mouth, all tiring.
Oh my
Do give some
gosh.
thought to my proposal. Think of how far we could advance crest research, you and I.
Experimental marriage and children? He likes me? I don't understand. I don't understand at all.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Jeez, that's maybe the most like outrageous thing Linhardt has done. Oh man, if I were Flane, I would run screaming. You know that there's a paired ending between them too, where she's like somehow on board with it, which is just ridiculous. Ugh. Ugh. We did a Catherine one just now.
Good day to you, Seteth.
Persistent, aren't you? If this is about my crest...
No. I thought we might speak of something else for a change.
Is that so?
Indeed. I am quite fond of conversation. Even just for the sake of conversation. Just listen to an old man's worries, eh?
Very well. Go ahead.
Perhaps it's due to my age, but I've been troubled by lower back pain lately. Right now, I'm in the process of finding a good way to treat it.
Ah. If it is an ointment you're after, I think Manuela would know more than me.
Doesn't it make you nervous to rely on Manuela? I do not mind asking her about the pain itself, but...
What are you trying to say?
Oh, nothing. I'm only lamenting the fact that I am getting old. It is a pastime I'm not sure I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yet I can't help but notice time hasn't taken such a toll on
Oh,
me.
finally!
The signs of age may not write themselves plainly on my face, but I feel the strain of years as much as you.
Is that right? But then, that doesn't explain your sister. Your sister, Flame, was born around the time I came to the monastery from the Empire, yes?
No.
In all that time, I never knew you to pay her a visit or to write her letters. Yet somehow, the two of you seem very close, like a family who has spent years together. Could this not suggest a different interpretation? Perhaps, like you, she has...
You will not pry into Flame's business. If you interrogate her, no. If you even so much as inquire where she has been or what she has done, I will never forgive you. Never. Investigate me all you wish. I will even cooperate if I must. But Flame...
Calm down, Seteth. I have no intentions of approaching Flame.
Do I have your word on that?
You have my word as a scholar and as a man. I do apologize for using your sister's name in that way.
Using her? What do you... Oh, that is low.
Now, investigate me all you wish, you said. I will even cooperate, you said. Do you deny it? Those words were all I needed to hear. Now I have no cause.
Nice, Hanneman.
Seems I have no choice. To think I have been played the fool by a man of your age.
I'll let that slight go.
He thinks he thinks he means old,
Even
but what
with
he
my
really means is young.
cooperation,
That's
there's no
hilarious.
guarantee you will reach the truth.
Oh, Seteth, searching for the truth is what I do. And I will find it. I promise you that.
Then I suppose I will have to look forward to the day you prove your claims.
Yeah, that little bit is great. Hanneman's like, oh, I'll ignore the fact that you just called me old. So it's like, no. I meant you were like a mere young pup. I really want there to be a payoff to this in terms of like something at the end of the game where Seteth's like, either like Seteth's like, hey, guess what? Or somebody like Hanneman like actually figures it out. Like I feel like there's just so many clues. Like Hanneman in particular really ought to figure something out at some point. But yeah, who knows whether that will actually happen or not.
Hey. We don't need to have this conversation.
You don't know what I was going to say.
Something about our vastly different approaches to life.
Fine then. We don't need to talk about it. Actually,
Oh.
Really, Guy?
sorry, you go first.
I was gonna say I'd hear you out.
Okay, let's talk about it. I will be faithful to Lady Rhea until I die. If I had to choose between you and her, I would choose her every time.
Oh, thanks.
I assume that disqualifies me from being your partner.
Between you and Rhea, I'd choose you. But between you and me, I'd choose me.
Heh.
That probably disqualifies me from being your partner, too.
Well, no. I'm quite fond of being alive. I don't intend to sacrifice my life either. If it came down to you or me, I'd choose...
What's wrong?
Uh-oh.
Nothing. You're not like the rest of the knights. Maybe someday you'll have to take a path that diverges from ours. What if we went to war with your country?
It is a possibility.
Maybe I shouldn't be thinking like that.
The future is one of the great mysteries of life. We can worry about it when the time comes. But until our paths diverge, you're my partner. And I couldn't ask for a better one.
You got that right. I'm the best there is.
Huh. And so modest, too. There's not like a lot of substance to their supports, I have to say. It's mostly just repeating stuff we already know. But maybe that's just another manifestation of how dang many supports there are in this game. Like at some point you've kind of explored pretty much everything there is to explore about the characters. And if you already know like what kinds of interactions two characters are going to tend to have, then it's like, well, that was predictable.
Seteth?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I realized something after watching the last support where Manuela is basically like hitting on Seteth. The combination of that and like the fact that this goes to an A like plus level means they almost certainly have a romantic paired ending, which is like, oh my gosh, Seteth, why?
Hello, Manuela. Is something the matter?
You surprised me is all. Though not as surprised as you when you found me here before. I've never seen you offering up prayers so solemnly.
I suppose I do typically make an effort to come here when no one else is around. Many look to me for guidance. I do not wish to disturb anyone's prayers with my own. But I did not come here only to pray.
Really? Then what were you doing?
I was swearing an oath to Saint Seteth. She is a special figure to me. It's become part of my routine to swear this oath before her likeness. More than any other, she wishes for a peaceful world. I believe it is my duty to grant her wish.
I had no idea you held such a passionate secret devotion, Seteth. The legends of Saint Seteth do depict her as a kind, proper, and honorable
Oh my
woman.
gosh.
And she was so gentle and quiet, really kept to herself. It's no wonder you're infatuated with her.
Yeah, not like that.
I think you may have misunderstood me.
It must be very lonely to be so in love with someone from the distant past.
She is very special to me, yes, but not in that way.
You don't have to hide it from me, Seteth. I can keep a secret. But people from the past are gone. No matter how much you care for her, she can't love you back. Now then, if you turned your eyes to me,
Manuela, stop!
I could respond to your deepest, most powerful feelings.
You are completely mistaken.
Oh, jeez. More Catherine.
Yes! I did it! I finally got a hit on you!
Not bad. I didn't expect you to come this far.
I've been training non-stop, so it had to happen eventually. I've been using my head a lot more, too. I'm not the same old Caspar.
Then what kind of Caspar are you?
Well, if you're Thunder Catherine, then, I get to be... Lightning Caspar. No, that's no good. Fiery... No. Burning Caspar?
I wonder where all this fire of yours comes from.
It comes from wanting to fight by your side.
Sorry, what?
You said before that you don't want to keep an eye on me. Something about not being my babysitter?
Yes, I seem to recall saying something like that.
That's why I decided I needed to train and get to your level instead. I'm gonna keep getting stronger. That way I'll never have to leave your side. You and me were...
Stop. That's enough for now. You've only managed to hit me once. Let's see if you can actually beat me. If that happens, I'll hear your request.
In that case, you'd better get ready. I'm real fired up now. You're gonna have to start calling me... Inferno Caspar!
They needed a roll your eyes in animation for that. But I guess he's finally starting to figure out his own nickname, so that's something. Oh my gosh, more Catherine. Oh, let's have to take a break.
Professor Hanneman, what do you think of my progress so far? To be blunt, you are still struggling more than I would expect. Ah, I see. I suppose I need to give it a little more of that Alois oomph. How does someone remain so upbeat when they are accomplishing, well, absolutely nothing? Come again? I didn't quite catch that. Just jabbering to myself. Pay me no mind. All right. I've been wondering, why did you agree to train me in the first place? When I told everyone you were teaching me, they could hardly believe it. Well, if I'm completely honest, you're less of a student and more of an experiment.
Well, that is very Hanneman
You
of
have
him.
no crest, but you might be able to learn magic, despite our early results. And the potential magical ability of those who lack a crest is precisely
What about Dorothea? She doesn't have a crest.
That's a surprise. A crest scholar, researching people without crests?
When studying crests, it is also important to understand the effects of their absence. After all,
You have to have a
the very
control
reason
group.
for all of my research is to grant the power of a crest to anyone who desires it. If it is in fact possible to increase the magical potential of people lacking a crest, then I find myself one step closer to my goal. Hence, my experiments with you are quite valuable to my research.
Oh, that's wonderful! What a great man you are, Professor Hanneman. Truly a man among men. Why, if I could prove it's possible to use magic without a crest, what an honor that would be. Oh, please, use me as you see fit. I won't let you down, I promise.
Could you express your enthusiasm more quietly? And if at any point you wish to discontinue...
Oh no, I'm ready to go. Let's make a breakthrough. Come on, Hanneman. You should be shouting too. A bright future awaits.
No. Shouts and screams are detrimental to scholarly research, and to my ears.
Oh, I meant to tell you, I have some friends who struggle with magic as well. I'll ask them to help. Perhaps if we all chip in, we can make your dream a reality. Onward!
Alois! Forget it. That man never slows down. But I suppose I can appreciate why some are drawn to his exuberance.
Yeah, Alois is great. Yeah, but what was I gonna say? I think it would actually be really cool if magical ability in this game was crest-based. Like if people who didn't have crests couldn't use magic. And for the most part, I think there is a pretty high correlation, right? So like people with strong magical aptitude, Byleth has a crest, Lorenz has a crest, Lysithea has a crest, Marianne has a crest, Linhardt has a crest, Dorothea does not. That's like the big exception. I'm not sure whether Ash has too much magical aptitude, but Mercedes has a crest, Annette has a crest, Blaine has a crest, Manuela doesn't have a crest. Okay, Hanneman does. Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying I would want all crests to be people, like, everyone who has a crest to be magic ruler, but I think it would be an interesting enhancement of the lore if either you needed a crest to be able to use magic, or you, like, there was some, like, sort of, either, or there was some, like, ceiling to magical ability if you didn't have a crest, or there was some like specific explanation for why certain non-crest bearers could use magic or something. I don't know. It's like, oh, that was a really interesting wrinkle that Hanneman and Alois' support just introduced, except it doesn't get borne out in the gameplay at all. He's like, you know, maybe people without crest can do magic. Well, but I mean, why don't you just go talk to Dorothea? Like, but you know, but that's like a gameplay mechanic. Alright, well, one more support and then we'll call it an episode. Has he been punching her all this time?
Wow, you've gotten much better. You're not doubting yourself anymore. It's like your state of mind is completely different. What changed?
Can I tell you honestly?
Please do. Maybe this is a chance to resolve our dispute and move on.
As a knight, an ally, and even as a person, I know I can trust you. But somewhere in my heart, there's a part of me that can't forgive what you did.
Of course. Your brother's blood is on my hands. it wouldn't be easy for anyone in your position to feel forgiving. If someone said it was easy, I would probably give them a smack in the face. You may never be able to forgive me, no matter how hard you try. I'm prepared to accept that. It's my duty.
I admire your spirit, Catherine. Honestly, I do. I hope the part of me that's holding this grudge will get smaller with time. And maybe someday, it'll vanish.
That's rather poetic.
Maybe, but I'm being serious.
Sorry, didn't mean to make light of it.
No, it's all right. We should have talked like this much sooner. I feel like I can finally stop dwelling on the past and start looking forward to the future.
I think meeting you has been good for me, too. Different people have different morals. They won't always agree on what's right and what's wrong. Maybe that's obvious, but it's something I think about when I'm talking to you.
Can I ask something of you?
I have
I'd
something
like to
to
know
ask
you
of
better,
you.
Catherine, as a person, and as my friend.
Sure, but I won't do all the talking. It'll be dull if you don't tell me about yourself, too.
Me? It won't be very interesting for you, but okay.
Okay, let's chat over a nice, tasty meal, my treat.
Christoph, Lenato, watch over me, please.
Hurry up or I'll eat all the food!
Coming!
Yeah, it's kind of like the Petra Caspar thing, except apparently, well, I guess I was gonna say apparently Ash doesn't have as easy of a time letting it go as Petra, except of course Caspar wasn't directly responsible; it was his dad who was responsible, so it's not quite the same thing. Anyway, alright, so that is all those supports taken care of, but gonna be more coming. I might do the thing, depending on what supports I get, I might do the thing where I just leave them unread and go ahead and do the mission next episode, though. We'll see. But either way, until then.